You spent years building your career before business. You were good at it and you were recognized for that. You knew how to operate within a traditional employment structure. But when you started your business, you didn't feel like you were doing anything well enough. You were still skilled, you were still prepared to work, but somehow that just didn't help. If that's been your experience, it's not a failing on your part at all, and it was certainly not unique to you. It's conditioning. And today we're going to talk about what employment trained you to do and why, without realizing it, why that training may well be the thing that is stifling your business growth. Hi, I'm Linden. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an entrepreneur trainer for online business owners, and I'm here to talk all things entrepreneurial leadership development to help you grow your business. Most women that I have met in business in the online space have come from a traditional employment setting, a corporate 9 to 5 background that they were in for a number of years. And that was my story too. What I've found personally since that time and what I've observed in the 9 years that I have been in the online business space now is that the skills and behaviors that made you good in that employment setting are the ones that are getting in your way of making progress as an entrepreneur. This has nothing to do with your ability or chance of business success or anything else of that nature that you might be worrying about. It's structural, and it's something that I talk about in my entrepreneur training. But I want to talk about it with you today because the fundamental shift in perspective that this will bring will help you think about business differently in a way that's going to help you move forward. So, what do we do in employment? Even if you were in a senior role, this isn't about the level you were or weren't at in your employment setting. What did you do as an employee? Your actions were determined by organizational plans, corporate objectives, performance objectives, procedure manuals, instructions from your boss, aka they were all instructions from someone else to be followed to reach an outcome. There were consequences of complying with these instructions or not, and there was likely always someone else either making decisions or something concrete shaping them. And there's a tension created when we transfer this approach to work into an entrepreneurial setting. Business requires self-direction, tolerance of uncertainty, and the willingness to make decisions without precedent or validation. And in my experience over the years, most women don't recognize they've transferred this old way of working into this new environment. They just think that they're doing something wrong that other people aren't, and that they're not good enough, which leads to a cycle of seeking right answers from other people's marketing, from coaches, from courses, from reactions to their social media posts. We're used to working in a way that's seen as right, and so we get validation, or wrong, and so we get penalised. We're used to a linear way of working. Take a right action and it gets a good result. Take a wrong action and it gets a bad result. And it's this way of thinking and this experience that we bring into business that underpins all the seeking and learning and caution and comparison that's an understandable breeding ground for confusion and inaction, when what we really need is a breeding ground for clarity and trust and decisiveness and momentum. The key thing here, if that resonates with you, is that it's all fine. It's not a reflection of your ability as a business owner that's keeping you stuck or keeping you achieving inconsistent results. It's that there's nothing in your professional history that's taught you how to think and decide and lead like a business owner instead of, for example, a service provider without a boss. And it took me a long time of acting like an employee instead of a business owner to realize this. And that's why I want to shortcut the experience for you now. So when we look at all this as a backdrop, what is the nub of the matter? What does acting like an employee instead of a business owner mean in practice? It means that you're operating inside your business with an identity built to excel in a completely different structure. When your identity develops to be attached to something like the structure of traditional employment, and then that structure isn't there anymore, your identity has nothing to attach to without you actively shifting it, meaning that the door's left open for all the feelings of incompetence and fear and feeling unmoored to just walk right in, not because they're the truth, but because you're playing the wrong role for the new situation that you're in. This mismatch isn't a signal that something's wrong or that you're not cut out for business. It's just that your identity as a business owner or entrepreneurial leader is lagging behind. And it's not a mistake or accident that we end up with identities that suit the more commonly tread path of employment. If you look up the statistics about the number of employees versus the number of business owners, you can see what we've been trained for and needed to be trained for. Much of your conditioning is valuable in the business setting, but it only becomes an asset once you're aware of it and harnessing it based on your own direction. It isn't about switching out one set of rules for another. It's about where you source your authority, whether that's externally or internally. Entrepreneurial leadership development is about internal authority. It's about a reclamation of your personal power. We're going to talk about that and contextualize it over the coming weeks. But the key takeaway is that you were built for a different environment to the one you find yourself in business. And the work is learning how to operate in the one that you're in now. And the good news is this channel is about helping you do that. So like, subscribe, and come back next time. And if you have a business friend you think would benefit from hearing this conversation, please do share the video with them. And thank you for helping me reach more business owners so that more women can reach their business goals and vision. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.